Consistent self-improvement, everybody. You are now listening to American gypC podcast. I am your host, Classic, and I am here with my co-host,
gypC. And today we have Anthony Cotter. He is the creator of Whole Life Goals, a platform that matches people's health, wealth, and wellness goals to certified professionals who can help them achieve those goals. Anthony, welcome to American gypC podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Glad to be here. How's it going in LA?
It's nice. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day.
It's like 78 in the middle of February, so I can't complain.
Yeah, we actually went snorkeling the other day.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So it's nice. How's the weather where you are?
Freezing. It's
yeah, exactly.
We got so I'm originally from Brooklyn and Queens, and now I'm up in Vermont for a bunch of years, and like maybe 3 days ago it snowed 2 to 3 feet.
Wow.
You know, so it's everywhere. There's snow everywhere.
I've only experienced that once when we lived in DC, and in DC there was a little blizzard a couple of years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and we were done. We're done with snow.
Back to LA.
Yeah, we're going to LA. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I lived in California for. I got married in San Francisco as well, but I bought a one-way ticket once when I was like 18 years old. Didn't know anybody. I was like running around, saved up money, landed there. You know, I was like, yo, when I was on the highway, there was so many trees that I remember turning to the I was like, yo, I feel like I'm in like Africa. Like I've never seen this. Like it was so gorgeous. It was the highway, right? How crazy. Yeah. But it was just so gorgeous. It's like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. And San Francisco, that whole Northern California changed my life, man. It's just so beautiful to get out of the city and just, you know, run around the mountains and get wild and free. So shout out to LA and San Francisco.
That's a rough city to move to without like any plans or anything like that. How was that experience?
Yeah, well, you know, I have an uncle that left. He went to St. John's University, and then he was an Aikido teacher, not a teacher, an Aikido student. And so he found out that his instructor was moving to California, and he was like, all right, I got to figure out how I'm gonna, you know, go out there and make it out there. So that was in the 80s. So he was out there, and I knew he was there. So I just was like, I just got to figure out how I'm gonna link up with him, and you know, and I just figured it out, just figure it out. And
okay, so what is you say Aikido?
Aikido, yeah, it's like Aikido. I mean, I don't want to. It's like it's a martial art.
Okay,
but the vibe is, it's more like they're not going to attack. It's more self-defense. So if someone's coming at you, it's a way to use that person's energy to get them away. You know Steven Seagal?
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah. So he's like an 8th degree black belt in Aikido.
Okay.
So that style, if you've seen his movies, you know.
Yeah, I like MMA. So I'm
yeah. So like MMA would be like the total opposite, like the attack, you know, jiu-jitsu,
right, but still a part of the defensive part, you know, that's
totally. That's that style, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
What made you focus on health and wellness?
So, man, I mean, it really goes back to my mother. She was you know, into yoga, you know, 60s, you know. She's from Brooklyn, Italian woman from Brooklyn. She gets, you know, with my dad. They're like 18 years old. They have my brother who's older than me. And I think she just kind of, you know, her sister had a spiritual teacher, and they both got into yoga. And then her 2 younger brothers got into yoga. That was my uncle that was in San Francisco. That's part of that clique. Okay. And then, and yeah, she just got into it. And then a year before I was born, she said, hey, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. And then I was born. And then, so she raised me vegetarian from birth. And then, so I always had like yoga and meditation in my life, because she had so many like colorful characters kind of around the house, and, you know, just really interesting people. So that was really from birth, right? From the jump. And then as time goes on, my mom and dad divorced, and I had like the evil stepfather. And my mom passed away on Christmas Eve. And then I moved back in with my dad in a one bedroom apartment in Queens with my brother. And my brother is a violent, kind of street kid. And he's in and out of Rikers Island and stuff. And then he gets diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And he's been institutionalized literally for 30 years now, between jail and hospitals and stuff. So then my dad is been self-medicating on drugs. He's a Vietnam vet. He did 2 tours in Nam. And so he's just been a wild guy, guns and cocaine and, and being a street guy as well. So he's also in and out of jail. And then so then I was like, all right, well, so I left my house and, got into my own, like every kids do, get into their own stuff and try to figure out who I am. And then I was like, why did my mom raise me vegetarian? Like I didn't have her to go talk to, so I was like, try to figure out like all that stuff. So I found like her books that she had. I found all her records and stuff. So I just started like reading about it, learning about it. And then I was like, I'm going to take a yoga class. And that really kind of kicked it off. I was like, I read a book called Diet for a New America by a dude named John Robbins. And he is the heir to Baskin and Robbins. So he was this, billionaire guy that was about to get like the empire given to him. And he was like, no, I'm not, I don't want it. And he wrote a book that said, these animals are being tortured, they're, to produce milk and cheese and all this stuff, they don't live a good life. And so halfway through that book, I was like, all right, like now I got this info, I can't go back, so I'm like, I'm going to remove dairy out of my diet, go, do this vegan thing. And because I want to reduce the cycle of suffering. I don't want to be involved. Like I grew up in New York City, I eat cheese pizza, I eat pizza, so it's like, but all these other things. So that was like the first thing. I was just like, all right, I'm not going to stop drinking, and I'm going to start noticing what I put in my body. So that was around that. I was probably around 18. And then again, like around 21, 20, I really got into health and wellness, and then flip-flopped for a long, like stuff like that. So that was a long-winded response, but that's
so besides like environmental reasons, what are some reasons someone should get into the vegan lifestyle?
So it's either for animals, right? So like an animal liberation environment and health. Those are the 3 kind of main vegan, reasons why you would go vegan. For me, it was definitely, I'm definitely vegan for the animals. I love animals. Although I never had pets or anything like that, but I just always, have a good bond with them. They're really, I don't know, they trust me, they come up to me. And so, I love animals. And then, so that was really it. It was really like more of like I didn't want to be hypocritical, like I didn't want, so for me, it was animal rights, but then it would also got into the health thing. Cause if I'm going to like poison my body with drugs and alcohol and stuff, but then I won't eat a slice of pizza. it didn't really make sense, like, oh no, I'm not going to go drink tonight, but, so that was kind of the thing. It was like, all right, let me stop partying Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays and let me start partying, and then I could go. I'll be able to wake up early and take a yoga class or go to that meditation class. So so these little increments of change kind of put me down a different path. And you see, if I'm hanging out at the park and play handball and basketball, and then whatever the night installs, and figure out how the night unfolds. But if I'm gonna not go out and then go to this yoga class, well, now I'm in Manhattan, and then I meet other people, right? After the class, let's go get a green juice, or let's go do that, So then you start hanging out with different people, and then you wind up in California with all the rest of the health food nuts, So those are the 3 reasons why people become vegan: health, environment, and animals. So
like out here, there's a big, kind of area. Well, it's mostly out west a little bit, where you can find a lot of vegan shops and things like that. Are vegan restaurants and things growing in the area where you are?
Yeah, no, I mean, Not like, I mean, there's nothing growing in my area. Like I'm in the mountains for sure. But I can tell you that since I've always been vegetarian, and I've always ate peanut butter and jelly for lunch, it's only been, I'd say, since around, I mean, definitely since 2000s, that veganism is freaking everywhere. Like every menu, there's always like a veggie burger, or there's always something that you could eat. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. It was like everyone's eating, and I'm just like, just more water, please, or whatever, or salads or stuff. So now, I mean, yeah, it's everywhere. But up in Vermont, there is a, there's a place called Mint that they do like a vegan restaurant. There's vegan options. That's what I'll say. Still, there's more vegan options. So that's good. I'm stoked. Yeah. And I know like Santa Monica, it's like vegan yoga studio, juice bar, vegan yoga studio, juice bar. It's like,
it's a lifestyle out here for a lot of people.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I worked at a Whole Foods in Mill Valley, so in up in Marin County, and I would walk to the store, and I'd climb trees, grab an orange, pick blackberries, eat fruit. By the time I got to the store, I wouldn't even be hungry. There's just so much abundance in California. It's amazing. You could tell I still love California. It's like, it's the spot, man. That's where you want to be. For me, in my own mind, it was like my dream. You live in New York, you're like, kids are skateboarding 24/7 in California. You live in New York, you only get like a short window, because then it's snowing and raining and stuff like that. So then it's like, man, California just got it. It's got everything. Got the beach, got it's got everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a different quality of life that, it's hard to kind of explain or you can, it's easier to say, but a lot of people are like, yeah, I wish I could, but and it takes them a little push to say it. Just like that same 18-year-old push to where you're not really worried about the fear part. You're just worried about, hey, I'm just going to go.
Yeah, it works. It'll unfold. Something will unfold. And if you have a positive mindset, yeah. If you got a good positive, good positive attitude, then, of course, like the real truth is that, anywhere you go, there you are, that, like you're going to take yourself with you, right? Wherever you go.
Yeah.
So I went from like partying and being a mess, and then going to California thinking, oh, I'm going to be drug free and alcohol free and all that stuff. And then I met kids playing basketball, and then I wind up doing the same things. We're partying in Daly City and, in all these spots. And it became like, I just found the same crew just in California. Like I just left this group of kids because I was like, oh, I need to change. I had to switch it up. And I find the exact same type of mentality so you bring yourself to the party, and
you'd be surprised. You could probably go to another country and maybe, depending on how things are, maybe still find that same.
Totally. Well, I mean, it's like, like if you go to like AA or NA, they say it's people, places, and things that you get, you could get triggered, that you have to really be aware about, because, and especially if you go to a new place and, you don't know anybody, you want to get a beer, and let's go get a beer or whatever. And then for someone that's shouldn't be drinking, I should not be drinking. The world does not want me to drink. But if someone, that's drinking too much, then you while out and you act the same way that you acted,
But you do have to be aware of that. And that's one of the things that you are at least aware of that. And a lot of people are just not aware of that. So
it takes time. It takes time to bring that awareness in. It does. It does. It takes time.
When did you start your spiritual journey? Or was that something that's always there?
So I got a story for you.
I'd love to hear it.
So my mother had a spiritual teacher. Her name is Hilda Charlton. And there's a book about her. It's called Saints Alive. And back in the 70s, she used to give a lecture, and 80s, she used to give a lecture in St. John's Divine, this big cathedral in New York, in Manhattan. And so we used to drive from Queens to the spot, like maybe once a week or every other week. I was little. I was like, maybe 6, 7 years old. And I guess, like, looking back at it now, I guess my mom and dad were going through their thing. So that was like her escape, like, like my dad's wilding out. We're going to take the kids. We're going to go see, be around these spiritual people. So we'd go, and there'd be, could be 100 people in this huge place, 300 people. And this is what I remember. Like, this, you'll know why, but this is like the biggest experience. But there's, let me just back up. There's like, the difference between my neighborhood is a very Italian neighborhood in Queens, a lot of gangsters, a lot of like, that type of vibe. And their names are like Carmine, Johnny, Frankie, like, what I'm saying? Yeah. Mikey, like that style, Anthony. And then when I go to this other spot in Manhattan, it's like Dove, Orion, Shanti, Vali, like all these other names. And so I just remember being a kid, like, wow, this is so cool. Like it was just so cool, and everyone had like beards and like tie-dye shirts. It's like hippie professor vibe, and which was new to me. And it was a very colorful scene. And as kids, we would just play tag and run around, while this woman gave this lecture to all these people. One night she calls everybody up, unbeknownst to me. So my mom comes and gets me, and we're just waiting in this long line, and she's on the stage. And you go up there, and my mom is like holding me, walking me up. And you take off your shoes, you get on stage, and then Hilda is in front of me. She's wearing this blue, like a sari, like an Indian wrap, yeah. a woman's wrap. And she kind of like does this like little half bow to me. And then she reaches out and she doesn't even touch my forehead, doesn't even touch it. And right out of her hands, this white light, poof, and it flashes me right between my eyebrows, and I just knock out. And I guess there's people catching you, right? So you don't get knocked out. So boom. So I'm out. I felt this white light just just turn on a light switch, just right up, and like everything was just bam, just white light, and like this like silver and blue, like this ocean color blue. And it just like fried my fried my system. And then I just remember my mom staring over me, and I'm looking up, and it was like fuzzy around the edges, but I see her face, and she looks so angelic. And she was just like, is everything all right? Are you all right? And I come up, and I just remember being speechless and not really like, wow, what the hell was that? That's so wild. And she just kept saying like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I just was really just taken back by it. My brother goes through that same experience. And I remember my brother saying, I saw all these flashes and colors and stuff. And then the only thing I really remembered on the drive back was, man, for being like a 7-year-old, I remember like, wow, like, I didn't know the language then, but I was thinking, man, like, if she could do it, I could do it. Right? If she has this superhero thing, like that means we all could kind of do it. And that kind of thought was in my head. And then the other thought was, man, if I could learn how to do this, I can knock my brother out. Like my big brother who always beats me up. I could zap him. Oh, you messing with me? Zap. So that was like the two things. But that experience really stayed with me. I mean, even today, I get the chills thinking about it. And I think, man, how can I harness this energy? How can I really do this and share it with other people? And so that idea has always stuck with me, to learn about meditation and seek my own gurus and go on my own journeys and do all these, colon cleanse and kidney flushes and parasite flushes and do all these things. And, I was thinking, I'm going to be breatharian and I'm not going to eat food and, sit on a rock and om all day and just bliss myself out, and then you realize that, like, you come back down and you're like, all right, I guess I got to eat and figure some other stuff out, but you go on all these adventures because, you're trying to, recreate this experience that was really mind blowing, really,
Yeah.
So that was really how that spiritual journey started. Yeah, so long ago, but it really stuck with me, and I can't say it enough. It really stuck with me, so I could, pick up a book or go see someone else's guru or someone else's teacher, travel and find, oh, this person's giving a talk. I'm going. I want to, like, I want that energy. I want, it's like you get it. You
Who
want
are
to go
some
check out the energy.
gurus you get inspired by?
So the one on my wall, his name is Ramana Maharshi, Sri Ramana Maharshi. He passed away in the 50s, I believe, and he blows me away. He didn't speak for 13 years, so he just transmitted his energy. With that's how his lessons were transferred to his students. But he just, when I look at his picture, man, it's something in me just wells up, and yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, he's the one for me. But there's so many, and they're all amazing. They're all they're all human, so a lot of them, quote unquote, fall from grace, right? Some get hooked on money, some get hooked on women, some get hooked on drugs. They're just regular people, but they've had these amazing experiences where something has opened up in them, and they realized, if I don't know if you read the Bible at all, but in the Bible, it's I can name many places in the Bible. But I'll just say in the Bible they say, what is the name of God? I'll just cut it short, and God says, I am. So that's the name, I am. And so when you kind of dig into this, like, what is the meaning of that? But when Moses had the 10 Commandments, he said, who can I say sent me? The Pharisee, who can I say sent me? He says, tell them I am sent thee unto you, right? And so that word I am has always been in my space, and kind of dig into myself and figure out what that is. And it's taken a while, but here I am. So I don't know if that answers anything, but maybe someone that's listening be like, let me dig into that too. So
yeah, what's your experience with meditation?
Yes, I taught meditation in Oakland and in San Rafael and in San Francisco in juvenile hall systems.
Okay.
And I did that for about 5 years. And I used to teach kids how to meditate all the time. I've taught my own children how to meditate. And I'd say the person who really taught me how to meditate was my Uncle Tony and my Uncle Pat. And they would just set an alarm for 20 minutes. And you would sit and do the style that we did in my house called Vipassana, which is there's two. It's Anapana, which is you focusing on the tip of your nose. So just following the air going into the nose and exhale out of the nose, and just feeling that. So it's just one pointed focused concentration right here at the tip. And then Vipassana is more of you're checking your body. So you're people call it like sweeping or scanning your body. So you're just kind of feeling inside of your body. You're filling the space up, and you're just scanning and seeing if there's any spots. Oh, I kind of feel inside of my knee, or inside of my left toe, or the back of my right scapula, or wherever. And you're just kind of moving that energy until you're completely blown open, and you're staying within your body. And that's the meditation that I do. Just always focusing throughout the day, just talking with you guys, just always having a little bit of that consciousness inside my body as I'm talking, as I'm doing the dishes, as I'm walking to the bathroom, as I'm doing everything in my life, just constantly checking in with myself, checking my body as I'm just living out my life. And that's become the meditation. And to give a quick one, it's like when people ask me about veganism, because I've been vegan now for 25 years, so like, oh, how hard is it being vegan? There's nothing hard. It's just a label. I don't consider it anything. It's just the way, it's just the way you eat. It's not like, oh, I'm vegan, whatever. It's just, no, it's just reality. It's just life. And that's how meditation becomes, it's not like, oh, I got to sit for an hour in a certain way, then that kind of also washes away, it's like, oh no, this is just the way you live. It's just, you're always connected to yourself. You always stay in that space. Now, with that said, again, in the Bible or in other scriptures everywhere, it's, be still and know or be still and know that I am God, right? There's that word, I am again. So, but be still and know I am God. So how do you do that? The only really way to do that is stillness. Stillness is the gateway into the present moment. So like I'm saying, as I'm walking to the bathroom or doing the dishes or making something to eat, yes, I'm in a state of presence, but also you do have to make time to be still, right? Your body, you can move it, fast it, feed it, right? You could do all these things with your body, but how much focus do we give on that stillness and not doing and just being, right? Just being, Yeah. It takes practice, but it comes.
You said you taught meditation at a juvenile detention center. Like, how did they receive that? Were they like?
Yeah, so I only taught
them?
in maximum securities, and so those kids, I mean, they still write me letters. That's how many years ago, but it's like, they've gone away for kidnapping, murder, like kids from Salinas and all these spots that are, these are like these, they're, when they're done with juvenile hall, they're going away. Like they still got more time to do. So they were, they needed meditation, they really did. And that's why it was a blessing being there. So what, and they have so much energy, right? 16 years old and you're locked up for 23 hours a day, right? And then they could either go to Bible class or they could do meditation class. So they probably know the Bible teacher is not having it, right? So they, it's probably pretty strict. So they're like, we can mess around in the meditation group, so then they come into the group. And so some classes, could be 20 kids, 30 kids, most of the times around, I say 15. So they're pretty big groups. And then, so in the beginning, everyone's bugging out. They're wilding out. They're out of their room. They're joking around. So I would immediately like, all right, we're doing push-ups. Boom, 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 right? You do like 20 push-ups. It's just to get their energy out, right? Because they're laughing and joking and not taking things seriously. But after they do their push-ups, then I'm like, all right, sit, close your eyes, focus on your breath, focus on your heart. And then they kind of settle into their body, which, as a 16-year-old, how many times do you really settle into your body? You really don't. So
I didn't know anything about that when I was 16.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they would come away like really blown. They would really be blown away, and they would love to hear my stories about New York City and then my diet, right? Yeah. One kid asked me, like, because I've never tried meat ever, so they were like, you ain't never tried meat? I'm like, no. How you gonna have kids if you don't try no meat? So it's like, right? Like, gypC was like, what? And right. It's like, what? Yeah. But just think like where they're at, it's like meat, protein, whatever they're thinking, they're correlating that with something, right? They're thinking like, oh, you got to have meat to be strong. You got to have meat to be this. You got to do this, whatever. And so it was just those types of things that would make me laugh, and we just laugh and laugh and laugh. But there's a kid from Jamaica. His mom was Jamaican, and he was raised vegetarian too. So there's a bunch of kids that like they knew what's up. They some kids are like, man, I want to do it in here, but we only get like one orange, one apple. They're like, it's hard to do it in here. It's like, when you get out or whatever, just as long as you're mindful about it, if you're mindful about what you eat and what you put in your body. And I mean, that's the first step, like we said before, with drinking or any drugs or, it's just being mindful, just having that awareness, like, oh, if I go down this path, I'm not going to be able to do all these other cool things that I really want to do.
Yeah. And knowing, at least getting to know your body too. A lot of people don't understand or don't have a relationship with their body to know, okay, I'm eating this, I feel like this, I'm eating this, I feel like this, I'm eating this. But sometimes when you can, basically filter out everything and almost exactly what you're putting in your body. And if you feel a certain way, you would know exactly what you put in your body still.
Totally.
That's basically kind of what that helped with the most.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. You're in high school, right? You go to lunch, you eat a burrito or something, something heavy, right?
Yeah.
And then you have science, or even worse, history, that next class. and you're drooling on your books. You're knocked out because you just basically ate something so heavy. And now all your energy is, you just zapped it. And now your body's trying to digest. And then you hear like the droning of the teacher, and then you just out,
Like, I just didn't get no sleep last night. And
right.
I got a collection of things that take place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's a collection of things, but having that awareness or noticing it, man, when I eat this food, I pass out, like I could eat 10 pounds of salad, not pass out. But if I ate 10 pounds of pasta, big macaroni or something, I'm sleeping, sugar coma, knocked out, and that's also addiction, right? Like if you're not feeling well, you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and you don't want to think about it, right? People go to drugs, people go to sex, gambling, whatever.
Also,
other people, right? They get a pint of ice cream or something. They put on their favorite show, and then that sugar coma, man, and you just forget everything. It's so, you could use it for you could use it for anything.
Yeah.
What you got, gypC? I see you thinking.
Well, I was like, what is your, I guess I've tried to follow more a plant-based diet, but I still eat eggs. Like, what is your I love eggs.
You're absolved. That you've just confessed. You're
like, I love eggs. So, like, what's your replacement? I know for you, it doesn't feel like a replacement because it's just this is your way of life, and you don't have it in your life. But like, what do you eat in the morning?
So I don't eat in the morning, but around like 10:30ish, around 11, I'll make a shake, and that consists of spinach, kale, water. Sometimes I use like a protein powder. In the last, say, 6 months, I haven't been, but sometimes I use Purium, or I'll use, another one of these other brands, Vega protein shakes. There's a bunch of them. And so then I'll maybe some coconut oil, just throw whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just get it up. But it's thick enough and it's heavy enough. Bananas, definitely. And so, so that's kind of that's my go-to. And it's liquid, so it's kind of pre-digested. Your body's not really working. And I feel the best. I do that. And then that's kind of my breakfast, lunch, and then dinner. It's really what I'm making the kids. I don't really eat that heavy. I eat pretty light. I don't really crave heaviness. I don't like to feel full. I like to feel satisfied. I don't like to feel like too full. It just doesn't feel comfortable for me. So that what I wanted to say about eggs is now, I mean, it's crazy, dude. What are we in? 2022. There is a vegan product for every product. So there's you wanted eggs. There's a product called Just Egg or something. I think it's called Just Egg, and it comes in like a squeezable bottle, like a ketchup bottle. Yeah. So it's like scrambled eggs that you could just squirt it out. Yeah. And then fry it up, and you can make a sandwich. There's vegan cheese, and
I tried the vegan cheese.
Yeah, there's really no excuse, because back in the day, we're like, oh, I can't give up. And then whatever that thing is for that person. Yeah. And then I'd be like, true. Yeah. You can't find good, whatever, Now, a friend of mine who's been vegan maybe 2 years, his name is Tim. And he was like, yo, all vegan cheeses suck. I was like, all right, I was like, have you tried this one? He's like, no. I was like, have you tried this one? I'm like, no. I'm like, look, my kids love it, so try that, hit me back. He's like, yo, I made the first time I made a grilled cheese in 2 years, so, because that's what it is. Like people want, like, they just want their comfort food. And so it's not hard, it's really not hard. It's just having that little switch. Oh, I normally buy this product. Oh, I'll try this one, Yeah,
and it's adjustment in taste buds and things like that. The more you eat it, the more you kind of get used to it. And because I know, I grew up on milk, but the more I got away from milk, now I taste milk, and I'm like, no,
It's terrible.
I used to drink a ton of milk too. I used to drink a ton because I would, watching TV. Oh, good for the bones, good for the milk does the body good. All the propaganda. No, all the just kidding. But all that stuff. So yeah, I would drink like this big thing. I'd be playing Nintendo. Like, yeah, I'm getting big. I'm like in the 6th grade, 7th grade. Like, yeah. And then what's that?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to ask, what do you use for milk now?
So there are so many milk products. So there's rice milk and almond milk and oat milk and coconut milk and all, right? There's tons of them that are vegan. I really don't drink. I don't use any of those products. Like I don't really use. So when I moved to California, 3 years prior to moving to California, I became a raw foodist. So I didn't eat anything cooked.
Okay.
And I did that for 3 years. And like you were saying, your taste buds change. And for me, it was when, you're eating cooked food or processed food, there's acidity in that. And when you go to an all, organic raw food diet, you're just eating fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. That's it. And so your body gets so alkaline. So your taste buds change. So I never went to like AA or NA when I was really, I was homeless for a bunch of years and living on the streets and kind of just not in the best place. So your body is very acidic, and then you crave all these acidities, right? Yeah. Cigarettes or whatever, weed, whatever it is, you crave all that stuff because the more you put smoke in your body, it turns your blood, there's acidity to it, but once you start doing more green juices and more salads and going that way, then all those cravings go away. So I just started to clean out my body, get more into the yoga, get more into the stuff, sweating and running and all this health stuff, that if like, so, oh, you want a beer or you want something, it'd be like, no, I don't even want, like, I don't even want it. I don't even want it, I don't even want, like, there's no craving whatsoever. The more alkaline you turn your body, you won't have cravings.
And sometimes it's the food that you're eating that's, triggering those cravings and
100%.
messing with your leptin and all of that stuff that's kind of throwing you off.
There's a California dude named David Avocado Wolf, and he's from San Diego. And he's like the pioneer of a kind of the new wave of raw foodists in the 90s. And he had so much information and just firing off all this energy. But he said in his first book, he's like, people are addicted to food. If you eat cooked food, go a week without bread, right? Or go a week without bananas or apples. Which one are you addicted to? Like going without bread for a week, you're like, oh, I'm freaking out. Like you crave it, You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've experimented several different things. Like I've done keto for about 6 months or so, and during that time I realized I did some intermittent fasting because I just, like you said earlier, once you start fasting, it's like you don't want to feel full. Full is like the worst thing that can happen. And if I was actually tracking my calories on MyFitnessPal, and I realized I got it down to a science where if I eat more than 400 calories, I'm just going to feel uncomfortable or, and I realized when I ate keto diet, it helped me not feel full or bloated, most probably cutting out the bread part for the most part. And I've also tried doing vegetarian keto. I try to mix it up for about 6 months, and I noticed a big change overall. Like a lot of things in my body started balancing out.
Yeah, and your energy changes. There's a lot of it's amazing. I mean, it's your body, so you try something. If it works, stick with it. If it doesn't, find another path.
But at least try.
At least try. And that's the other thing. It's like people are like, oh, I tried veganism, I couldn't do it. How long did you try for? A week. All right, well,
Yeah.
maybe try again, like
Yeah.
this thing, you've been eating this way for 50 years and you try
Yeah.
something for 1 week, it takes some time to, your body kind of get used to it and feel good and clean yourself out of it. And yeah, and it's fun and it's just fun. And fasting, intermittent fasting is great. I just remember feeling really cloudy in my mind. And the more alkaline I became, my meditation got better. The inner quietness got better. My mind wasn't racing. All these things. And really, I don't really know how to explain this, but I definitely experienced it. I felt like when I had more acidity in my body from just eating a cooked food diet, I felt like if people were throwing shade at me or saying something, I would take it in personally. Like it would affect me, like it would stick to me. But once I became alkaline, like I felt like nothing affected me. Like oh, you're too skinny, or you're there. I was like, no doubt, yeah. Like I just like it didn't, like I don't care. It was like,
Yeah.
it's such a weird thing. It's just a weird. It was a weird thing, and it dawned on me. I'm like, damn, I'm always in a good mood. Like I'm stoked. Like I love this. I love this lifestyle. I feel great. And and then you want to share it with people, and that's when they're like, I get out of here. I'm not eating that. Eat rabbit food all day.
What's the longest you fasted?
I fasted for 30 days, no food.
Wow.
Yeah,
How was
water.
that experience? And was it hard? And like,
it-
when did it become easier? Because I know after a certain time, it probably becomes automatic.
Yeah, automatic.
Maybe. Well, not
It-
automatic. I like your body gets used to it.
Yeah, it doesn't fight it as much. Maybe.
I don't
Totally.
know, but I wouldn't know anything about that.
Right.
It is. It's like
Just
the
knowing
first, let's say 10 days. Well, I'll go. So like the first day is no big deal, right? Because you just ate 24 hours ago, so it's like, whatever, no big deal. That's fine. And then the second day, like you get irritable. It's like, not really stoked. Everyone's eating because people don't realize what we were saying before. You eat, you're comforting yourself with your food choices, but you don't realize it until you give up those food choices. Then you realize, oh man, like I'm really addicted to that. Like we said before, go a week without bread, you're like scratching, I'm fiending. Go a week without apples, you're like, well, I don't give a fuck. Go whatever. I don't know. Like you don't.
Right.
Okay, there's no addiction there. But so yeah, so doing it. So then like day 3, by day 3, 4, you finally have a bowel movement, right? So your body's kind of feeding off what was the last thing that was in your body. So then once that happens, you get like this surge of energy because now because there's nothing, you're not putting anything in your body to push out the last thing you ate, right? So you're drinking water or whatever, and then you have that bowel movement. All right, I get some energy, and then it happens again. Then like you feel good for a little bit, and then it's like 3 days later, you're like, oh, I feel sluggish again, and then you have another bowel movement, and you're like, another bowel movement, like day 14, like how is this possible? I haven't eaten 2 weeks, like what am I holding on to? Like this is crazy. But your body starts to say, oh, okay, the body starts to trust that you're not, that okay,
survival mode.
He is resting. So let me start kind of dumping some of these toxins that I was holding on to, and then so you get headaches. Oh God, you maybe break out in pimples, like if you smoke cigarettes, your lungs are, you'll get rashes on your jawline, and you'll see, you experience, your body tells you everything, right? Your body tells you when you're thirsty, your body tells you when this or when that, and then these symptoms that you get, they get more extreme. But for me, the coolest thing to really notice were my eyes and my tongue. When you're fasting, like, all this mucus is coming out. It's like your tongue, I know sounds pretty gnarly, but like your tongue can be like yellow and furry looking and like, and white and all, and so you're like, oh, what does it mean? So then there's books and there's things to read and like, oh wow, this is what's happening. And then you get really into it and you're like, oh, I don't want to stop now. Like this stuff, like I'm moving this stuff out of my system. And so you want to go a little bit further. There's an excellent person. His name is Arnold Ehret, and he wrote a book called Rational Fasting. And he also wrote a book called The Mucusless Diet. And they came out like the turn of the century, early 1900. And they're small. It's like a book like 5 inches tall, you know, quarter an inch thick. And, you know, you could buy them on Amazon for like $5. They've been around forever. But his story, you know, he would say, you know, fast for 20 days, 10 days, and then introduce a little bit of food, like a handful of grapes, you know? And he's saying that kickstarts the metabolism and everything. And then you'll be able to excrete more waste because you kickstart a little bit, and then fast for another couple of days, you know? Because he did a ton of these experiments where he would fast. Let's say he would cut himself on his hand, on the backside of his hand, and he would drink vodka and potatoes, right, for like a month. Cut himself, and then write down what the cut was doing. Oh, it's pussing. It's, you know, it hasn't formed a scab yet, right? And he's writing this all stuff down, you know, and he's being his own doctor. He's, you know, he's studying his own stuff. And then he would do 100% raw food diet. And on the other hand, cut himself, and he'd be like, the same size cut, healed in 3 days. Scabbed, healed, no scarring either. So he was doing these amazing experiments. And I'm reading this stuff like, oh man, this is amazing. You know, like I gotta do it. So that's what got me interested in just learning about what your body could do and how fast you could heal. You know, it's like how much further you could push yourself, how much more energy you have. Does food really give you energy? Like all these questions come up. Man, can I become a breatharian and give up food completely? You know, I've read books. There's people that haven't eaten food. This is crazy talk, you know? And so that became my motivation. Is I learned how to do this sun gazing practice where you stare into the sun, and you kind of drink in the energy that way, which is a beautiful practice. I spent time with this gentleman. His name is HRM, Hiratan Manek. And I used to put on these, in California, I used to put on, you know, like gatherings where speakers would come, and I would make raw foods for them, and, you know, and charge people to come into the spot and learn these lectures. And so I used to do that tour for him, and I used to do it for Dr. Gabriel Cousins and Brian Clement down at Hippocrates Health Institute down in Florida. And so we get all these just great information and just some really cool stuff. And that really became the driving force of wanting to continue to push myself further and see how far I could go without eating at all. Or if I was like, well, if I ate every other day, it's like eating 180 days a year. If I fasted Saturday and Sunday every other weekend, so now take off another 50 days, you know, whatever. And then so you're like, wow, I'm only eating, like literally I was only eating like 60 days a week, you know? And then thinking,
I mean, a year.
What's that? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
A year. Then I'm thinking, wow, I could go further, you know, I could keep going further. And little by little, by doing the sun gazing, it really opened up these, like, the fear that you have in yourself, right? How many times when you were a kid, your mom would say, don't look at the sun, you'll go blind, right? Or some sort of fear-based thing that you take in as truth. So then I wear sunglasses or block out the light, or, you know, but then when you do this practice, in the back of your mind, that comes up, right? This 5-year-old voice or whatever, don't look at the sun, you'll burn your eyes out, whatever it is. But then you're staring at the sun, and you're staring. And then that fear just starts popping and just like goes away. And you're just releasing more and more fear, just releasing and releasing. And then you just come to that spot of like, man, I could really do this. I feel energy. I feel good. And it was explained to me like this, like the vegetarian, like the meat eater eats the cow for his energy. The cow ate the grass for his energy. So then the vegetarian is like, oh, I'll just cut out the cow and get the energy from the plant, right? So that made sense. And then this teacher was like, all right, but where'd the plant get the energy? So cut out the plant and get it directly from the sun. Yeah. So I was like, that makes sense. but you know, but it does sound wacky. But if you go online and you type in breatharian, there are people.
I sun gaze, and I did notice a difference when I was kind of trying to do it every day. It's hard to explain, but I think it's
It's hard.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was living, I don't know if you know Mount Tamalpais in Marin County. So over the Golden Gate,
Okay.
when you go over
Not
the Golden Gate
familiar.
Bridge, the mountains to the left is Mount Tam. And so to do this sun gazing, you add 10 seconds every day. Is that the one you did or no? gypC.
I didn't really time it or anything. I just try to
Okay.
do it in the morning, first thing, go outside and
Perfect.
just, during sunrise.
Yeah,
Just
and take
stare
it
at
in.
it and just try to do affirmation, just be in a positive
Mhm.
energy while I'm doing
Love
the
it.
sun gazing.
Love it. And you feel it, right?
Yeah.
You feel it. Yeah. And so this gentleman, he was reading a book by Sri Aurobindo and the mother, and he came across this in India. He's from Kerala, the southern part of India. And he said, add 10 seconds every day. So the first day, you stare at the sun, 10 seconds. Next day, 20 seconds, 30, 40, right? So every day you add 10 seconds. And now we're not staring at the sun when it's high noon or anything like that. It's sunrise or sunset only,
Yeah.
right? And so if you keep adding 10 seconds, in about 9 months, you get to 44 minutes, 45 minutes, right? You get to that level. And he's like, when you get to that, your body now is fully charged. You cannot take any more in. So you don't have to sun gaze every day. And that was that's like the first, and then there's another level to do it. You got to kind of walk on the beach and then you could start sun gazing kind of when the sun is directly over you and it's stronger, and you kind of drink in a little bit, when it's really high. And so that practice really blew me away. For one, just think about it. In 1 year, I mean, if you dedicated your day to make sure you see the sun and spend time with the sun, it changes your life. It was the best year of my life. The best year of my life. I've seen like 300 sunsets in a year. Like if you did it, like I know it sounds corny or whatever, but
well, no, trust me, we understand. Yeah,
because, yeah,
you
you know
look
what
at
I
our
mean? Like,
YouTube channel, and you would be like,
okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. So it was like to dedicate that time, and I'd go, work at Whole Foods. Had a 1969 Squareback VW. Like living like this California life, and drive up to the mountain, and and there's people up there celebrating, and there's like mountain bike riders, and it's just like this cool vibe, and the sun goes down, and then like my heart just like man, I need a rewind button, like bring that sun back, you feel like I feel sad, like no, I don't want it to go away, but yeah, it's such a beautiful practice.
And then the temperature drops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And just I want to say this with sun gazing, if anyone does attempt it or try it, there's plenty of things to do, but make sure you don't have rubber soles, or you want to be grounded, because there's a lot of electricity, and so you just want to be grounded to the ground. Just like if you have a light switch, right, there's a ground on the light switch for that. Well, that electricity needs to be grounded, so that's the same. So rubber insulates your body from Mother Earth, so definitely stay grounded. And then also, if you could do it on sand, I find that to be best, and dirt, and then rocks, and then grass would be last. Concrete would be even less, or stuff like that. So yeah, but you guys know what's up.
Yesterday, we went out to the beach and kind of took our shoes off, walked in the sand, and it was perfect time because it was sunset. So we're just like looking at the sun.
So everyone's just quiet. Yesterday was the sun gaze, and the day before that was the snorkeling.
I know you guys are crushing it. Yeah. I love it. Snorkeling, man, amazing. And so what beach is that? Where is
Laguna?
that? Laguna.
Yeah, that's where we go for snorkeling. Down went to Shaw's Cove for the first time. We had usually been going to Crescent Bay.
Okay.
And
went to see some cool stuff?
Well, I didn't. The water was crystal clear. We didn't really go out to see too much, but we just kind of went out to feel the water.
It was pretty quiet yesterday.
It was quiet. When we go to Crescent Bay, though, we usually see fish. There's another area where there's a lot of kelp, to where we basically every time you can almost see something.
We saw a stingray, little golden fish.
And right now I think it's migration for like whales and dolphins. Whales. So, and we've seen from the same beach, whales and dolphins passing by.
Wow.
So we didn't get to see anything this weekend, but we sure. That's why we like to go there as well, because it's a magical moment.
It's magical.
It's very magical. Yeah.
Totally. California, man. California.
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
I did want to talk about whole life goals. Let us know, like, how does that work? How do you get connected with professionals?
Yeah. So it's wholelifegoals.com, WHOLELIFEGOALS.com. And the way I broke the site down was, if you have a goal, I want to match you with a certified professional that could help you achieve your goal. Right? Super simple.
Yeah.
So I broke it down into 4 groups, because I'm like, what can you do with your body? Like, what in this realm that we live in, right? So there's movement, meals, mind, and money. It was going to be movement, meals, mind, like manifest, but I was like, that might feel a little bit too light. Like money, we need, like, you need money to go take that yoga class. You need money for that green juice or whatever, right? So
True.
it's a part of our existence. And so I was like, those are my 4M philosophies. So now I'll back up a little bit, but so for me, I was, so I'll go through my 4Ms. So for movement, I became a certified yoga instructor, right? So that's my movement. But there's, Pilates and personal trainers and Zumba classes, right? There's all these movement, and movement would be even, because there's movement recovery as well, but be like massage would be more recovery, or acupuncture, acupressure, all these stuff that you do with your body, all those kind of movement body healing modalities. So that's movement. Meals, as you know, I became a raw food vegan chef. That was up at Harbin Hot Springs up in Northern California. So that was for but so under the meals categories, there's nutritionists and dietitians and health coaches and, vegan life coaches, whatever. Like there's so many things in the meals category. Movement, meals, mind. As you know, I taught meditation with a group called the Mind Body Awareness Project in the Juvenile Hall system. So that was my mind area. And then money, I became an institutional broker for a bank down in Manhattan. And so that was the way that I was able to make money and learn how to, sell, equity derivatives, buy and sell stocks and stuff like that. So put all those 4 together, that became kind of obviously going through those certifications, I didn't know I was going to build a website, on those things. But it really, having those 4 certifications, really, I found beyond balance, I found harmony in my life. If you have a couple of bucks coming in, and you know how to feed yourself, and you know how to move yourself, and you know how to still your mind, what else do you really need? Right? Like,
pretty nice
right?
place.
Yeah, it's a nice place to be in, right? And so I was like, all right, I think I got something here. I'm like, like, so if you just check yourself and it was like, all right, well, I got a good job. All right, good, check. But, I don't get off the couch, or I don't move my body, or, or whatever, or I eat crap or whatever. Like, you could check and you just say, all right, movement, meals, mind, money. All right, well, that one's done. Money, I don't need, I'm covered there. Movement, I don't need, but maybe I need help with, quieting my mind, and I need help with, eating the right stuff. So you would go to the site, and it literally says, what is your goal in those 4 categories? And then it's very generic. It's like under the meals, it'd be like lose weight, manage chronic disease without, it's very like, all right, well, these are my situations. I want to be able to put on that dress. So I need to lose 20 pounds for my wedding, or what, like whatever your thing is. And you just click through those questions. And then on the certified professional side, I said, what do you specialize in? And then there's, again, a drop down, and it'll say like autoimmune disease, or, allergies, or whatever, right? So whatever they specialize in. And then I match you guys together. But beyond that, I also have a section that's called traumatic experiences, because I'm someone who's gone through a couple of traumatic experiences that, like the human experience is a lot of suffering, right? That's what the Buddha said, like life is suffering. So through that, I'm like, how can I link you up? Like, all right, you just got a divorce, you gained 30 pounds, you're not motivated to get off the couch, your heart is crushed, right? What am I going to do? What if there was someone that's a certified professional that had a divorce, maybe had 3 divorces, maybe gained 150 pounds, maybe learned how to get rid of all, right? Like got rid of all that. I want to match you guys up more so than anybody, because it's like a life hack, because this person knows exactly what you're going through. Oh man, so there's that compassion is there, that understanding is there. Now the person that's still stuck on the couch, they don't have to go to the seminar. They don't have to read a book. They don't have to figure out, I don't even know what to do, because we have someone that tried this, tried that, and now I know exactly what works. Boom, that's a match, right? So that's part of the site that I love. That's my favorite part, and someone has money issues, maybe they've been bankrupt, but then you find a financial planner that was bankrupt and they did XYZ, and now their finances are on track. Match you guys right up. Yeah.
That's a great idea. I was going to ask, like, what types of professionals are on there?
Yeah. So those are the groups. I mean, if you could think movement, just think, man, there's hundreds and hundreds of certifications just for movement, just for movement.
Yeah.
I say from acro yoga to Zumba, that's my A to Z, or acupuncture, right? There's so much. And then, so that's movement. There's hundreds of certification. Meals, there's probably 100 different certification, keto diet, person. And then just think how many coaches, right? There's a life coach, or this coach, or that coach, all of these coaches, financial coaches, marriage coach, cancer, like it's nonstop. So all of these types of certifications, license, diplomas, if you're certified in any of those things, even in the meditation, right? Even in the mind category, there's EFT tapping, right? All these trauma release techniques, right? Those are all minds, neurofeedback, all these, there's so many healing modalities to really quiet your mind, and learn about yourself, and obviously in the money category, right? There's financial planners and advisors and consultants, and how to grow your business, and all these types of financial gurus that are out there. There's tons of certifications in there. Well, but so you get the idea who's on there.
Let's kind of just give them an idea of what types of help they can expect.
So the idea, I don't know if like Angie's List, or like Thumbtack is another one.
Yeah.
So it's like that. But when I was looking at those sites, not so much Thumbtack, but Angie's List, I was like, yeah, it's kind of like this. I just remember growing up, and there'd be like directories, like, oh, I need a chiropractor, right? So you go through a directory, and then you find one. But I was like, I don't want people to pay for a directory. We're not like driving traffic to you. You're just paying to. It's like you're just advertising to be a part of this directory. So it's like, how can I reverse engineer it, where you create a profile and then I could just drive traffic to you? Like they click what they need. If it's a good match, it's all done by numbers, right? Oh, this person's a 78% match for you. This person's a 93%. Oh, 93, boom, done match. It's like,
once you put in all your interests, what you're looking for, does it give you multiple, if there are multiple professionals that can help you with that, does it give you the list?
Sure. Yeah. So like I said, it says, what is your goal? And let's say your goal is just movement, right? So if you clicked movement, it'll after you click through on the website, and I do it really slow because I'm speaking very slowly, and I just want people to understand what I'm clicking through. It takes me 3 minutes and 13 seconds to find a professional. So it's in the mind category, I show five practitioners, which are the most high rated to what you've selected. They come up first, and then at the bottom of every of the 4 categories, it'll say, click here to show more. So the list could be 100 people, if could be hundreds of people, but the first 5 is probably enough. The top one, you'll see the percentage sign. All right, this is my match. Yeah, it's great. It's fun, man. It's great.
Pretty good idea.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's like, when you have when you come across a band or like a CD that you love. For me, growing up, it was Eric B. and Rakim. I couldn't get enough of hip hop growing up. Headphones on 24/7 everywhere I went. Love music. I used to have the big boom box that weighed more than me. I used to put it on a skateboard and carry it wherever I went, because I couldn't carry it past 2 blocks. But always music. And then, and like going through all that, it's like, man, like it's like all of this in your mind, all this all this music, all this stuff. Like you're walking down the street, like I could be doing something even today, like fixing a sign or something, and then like these lyrics pop in my head, you know. I'm like, oh shit, where the hell did that come from, right? It's like all this music, all this amazingness. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. And then it's like, all right, now I have to like also find quiet time and chill time and relax time and shut that mind down and really find that really peaceful spot. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. So anyway,
it's
whole
one
life
of the things,
goals.
yeah, that a lot of people struggle with, that distraction in the mind and not being able to sit still even now.
Totally.
But this type of thing definitely is necessary to help that.
Well, what I was going to say too is like when you find that CD or that tape or whatever that, you know, the download, the SoundCloud beat that you love, whatever, you just want to share it with everyone, right? You're like, yo, check this out. It's crazy, right? A movie, a documentary, or a good book or whatever. And so that's how I am with the site. It's like, yo, this person is amazing. Like this person, you like what they're doing is lymphatic drainage and all these like what is crazy. Like I don't like, you know, all, but it goes beyond. There's just so much. There's so much healing and so many amazing people that it's like I want to share them like I used to share my Eric B. and Rakim tape. You know, like yo, you got to meet this person. You got to check out this person. You know, and so I get like my heart right now is like because I get excited about connecting people. There's something about it. And it's something about the feedback that you get. Yo, I just met so and so. Yo, thank you for putting me on, whatever. And you're like, yeah, you know, like you know, the ego boost you get. You know, so yeah, so it feels good, and I love it. And that's really, it's, you know, like I said, looking back, I would have never thought I'm building this website or something. But now that I look back at my life, I'm like, yo, it really makes sense that I'm doing this, you know? Yeah. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, we definitely can relate. It's a similar feeling with the podcast.
You know, yeah,
just,
right. You guys love it, right?
With people like you. Yeah, it's one of the things that we enjoy. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, because how else we would have met, right? We, you know, like this is it. Like because of you guys are doing this, we get to share our time together, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It's great. I really do love it. I really love it. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I'm just stoked about it. Yeah, and it's new, and I want you to know too, it's really new. Like I just completed the footer at the bottom of the web of the website like 2 weeks ago. Like you know, like building a site. Yeah, the concept I had in my mind for years, and then you know, this is what I want, and then spend thousands of dollars, and I'm like, this is not what I had in mind, you know, and fire that person and hire another person, and and then another year went by, and I'm like, oh, how come it's not happening, you know? And you know, and then right, and you know what I'm saying? It's like walking through mud and like fighting uphill, but then it's like, all right, well now it's out and there's some traction happening. Oh, hey, you just got 100 practitioners that just joined. Oh, great. Oh, you just got another 100 practitioners. Oh, yeah. Oh, you just connected somebody, you know, and it's like, oh, yo, it's here, it's working, it's doing it, you know. It just, it blows me away, man. It blows me away. Awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's fun. So tell me about you. What's going on? Tell me about these dragons. What are these?
These are alabrias. It's a guy in Oaxaca, Mexico, that hand makes these. It's wood. He does a lot of insects, and the art form is called alabrias. There's a few more insects, but there's a lady in downtown LA here that sells it for him out here, and
very cool.
Yeah, I think when I read about it, it was something spiritual. I guess the guy who was the first guy to call it alabria as this whole art form. I guess he kind of had like a spiritual epiphany or something.
I think it was sick or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, he took some medication. He was like fell asleep and just like went to a world where everything was like these I don't know if you can see it in the camera, all of it is like hand drawn. There's a lot of intricate design on it, and he basically saw a bunch of like insects and things, animals that didn't make sense. It was like it would have a head of this, but it would have wings, and so like, and they were all colorful and decorative and patterns, and he basically woke up and started creating these things. And then It
Yeah.
became a thing now.
So they have
It's
a,
not
in a
only
lot
one
of
person
different
that does it. It's
sizes.
just a art
Hmm.
form, I think, that a lot of different people practice now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. And it wasn't like some DMT trip. It was, he got
It
sick.
looks like it was a DMT trip, right? Because I mean, when we sleep, we kind of do go through a DMT trip. So it was
But yeah,
probably the whatever drugs he took kind of probably activated something. And
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's like a dragon. Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, that's cool.
I love
And,
it.
and yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Yeah. Dragonfly.
Very cool. And is there a store that people should know about it that you could grab one of those?
I think you can
he
order them
does have
online.
actually
There's an online store, but yeah, we'd
we
have
will
to
put
get the
that in the
card and stuff like
description.
that. Yeah.
Actually, I do know his site. I'll put the link on the description for the listeners if you guys want to support the
Yeah.
guy in Mexico. He sells his stuff online, so you don't have to. We
Go to
get it.
Mexico.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we get it in LA because there's a lady that vends. I think she goes there and gets some from him and vends it in LA. But you
Yeah.
can buy them online. So
Very cool. And so you guys both grew up in California, born and raised?
not
No,
at all.
I'm originally from Mississippi.
I
Yeah.
got the name
Mississippi.
gypC because I'm just all over the place. So I grew up in Ethiopia, early child. I was born in LA, but I grew up in Ethiopia to Eritrean parents, and then moved to Minnesota for like 8 years, and moved around Atlanta, DC, Maryland, Virginia, then now in LA. So I've just been some of
Yeah. And we
everywhere.
met in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been together over 10 years.
So when
Very cool.
people are
Very
like, "Where are you from?" I'll be like, "What does that mean exactly?" I don't know. Like, I'll just tell you
she's
the whole
like where I was
thing, and then you
born
can
or
figure
where,
out like where, I was born in California, but
yeah.
my mom just had me, but I was really living in Ethiopia, and it's just so I don't know where I'm from, or I'm Eritrean, of course.
Have you gone back to Ethiopia?
Oh yeah. The last time was.
Have you gone?
No, I haven't gone yet.
We do have to make a trip
We have to go.
together. I think the last time I went was 2000. It's like
It was a few years
2 or
ago.
3 years
No,
ago. Yeah,
for
3 years ago
for the
probably.
wedding.
And like the mom and dad are there, and grandparents, all that. Like
They
everybody's
go
there.
back and forth. Now my parents live in the U.S. But for a few years they were living there, and I was living in the U.S. So there's a little gap there.
But is that a spot that you want to visit?
Oh yeah,
Us?
oh yeah,
Right.
I love visiting. We
talked
love
about
traveling,
living there.
Yeah, so
right.
Yep, and even living there, or having a house there or something. Yeah.
What was the best spot that you've traveled to that you were like, yo, I'm blown away?
Oh man, that is so. I've traveled
the
so
hardest
much.
Question.
Yeah, I've been to
because I didn't spend enough time in the places where I went, so it's like they're still like, I have to go back, again.
Wow.
So
I want to say I've traveled probably 50 different cities over probably 17 different countries, but
wow,
one of my favorites. I
gypC
guess since I go, I guess I go back to Greece a couple of times, so I will have to say that Greek island, specifically Milos Island, is one of my favorite places in the world. And if you are visiting Greece, it's like there's so many amazing islands, and the only one that gets highlighted is Santorini, which I love. We got married in Santorini, and Mykonos too. But like, still, like, if you want to party, you go to Mykonos. If you want to like lounge and just enjoy the beautiful island, you go to Santorini. But Milos, like, nobody talks about it, but there was like 100 and something beaches that looked completely different from each other, that had like, one was completely white, bleach white, just everything was white. It looked like a moon crater. And then the next beach would be like a red beach, and it was just like really amazing. So I would recommend Milos Island, and you get away from all the tourists because Santorini is getting super crowded now because it's so popular.
I went to an island called Crete.
Okay.
in Greece.
Yeah,
It's a small,
I do want to go there as well.
yeah, it was beautiful.
Did you
It
like
was
it?
beautiful. And Mykonos, they're all, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's, have you gone to a place and was emotional? Was like, just, oh my God,
I
like
was
tears?
just talking about that. Yes.
I could say I
So
felt like that in South Africa more.
really,
Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, I couldn't swim in South Africa like I can swim in Greece.
Big sharks.
In big sharks.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
scared.
So just
Just get your toes wet. You only go
yeah,
up to your
but
knees.
and what's
But
funny, even like I guess where we were, the coastline is just the harbor looked similar to Long Beach Harbor. What was
Very
funny
cool.
where we were, yeah. It is
Right.
beautiful, absolutely
for
beautiful, and
me,
just yeah.
Italy was one of the places that just
Wow.
there's a lot of great places in Italy, but I'm into architecture, so it was a
Yeah, me too.
really nice place to be for that. But in Milano, the Duomo there, the cathedral, it. So I got out of the metro. I was just telling this on a different podcast, but I was saying like I looked at so many pictures of it, and I have a lot of family in all over Italy.
Mhm.
Because I'm American, but like there's sorry, I lost my train.
About the place, how beautiful it is.
Yeah, I've seen so many pictures of it. So I was ready for it, but then when I got there and I looked at it, I got teary eyed because I was just like, wow, like the picture did not do it justice. Like
Right.
just the building itself and all the details. I mean, it was just as much details of these little creatures here. Like it was so many intricate little like statues and little I don't know, it was a lot going on and
And you
it kind
felt
of
it.
got me teary eyed a little bit. And I was with my sister. I was like, oh, let me not show it. Let me get myself together. And yeah,
Like, what's
but
wrong with you?
it caught me off guard. But she enjoyed architecture as much as I did, so she can kind of get it. But yeah, that
Yes.
was one of the places that like, you know, caught
Yeah,
me
get
off
taken
guard a
back.
little bit. And yeah, so I realize now I have like a lot of cities and countries on my list to go to, but I realize when I can look at a million pictures of the pyramid, but I know once I get there, when
Yeah.
I look at it in the flesh, it's going to be like,
Next level.
it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I got from that experience like picture does not do it justice. Don't look at,
Mm.
the videos and pictures and be like, all right, I don't need to
Yeah,
go
I'm good.
there.
I don't need to go there. I'm
Definitely go
good.
there.
Yeah. I definitely want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very good. Have you guys done any of the more Asian places?
No,
I haven't
I
actually,
haven't.
and
No.
Philippines is like on the top of
It's
my
on the list.
list.
Yeah. I love Thailand.
Yeah, we
As
have
far
some
as Thai
people in
food,
China, but
yeah.
Philippines is like one of the places I really like. It's hard
Indonesia.
because there's so many different places to go that I'm just gonna tackle over several trips, and I'm like, just gonna dedicate a whole trip to Cebu Island, and I'm just gonna go, or
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
how.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philippines is.
Very cool. Very, very cool, man. Yeah. I went to I went to Japan, and that was
Mm,
like, I really got taken back by Japan. I
really.
was like, I started crying. I was like, oh my God. And it's such a weird experience. I mean,
Mm,
you obviously had it happen to you as well. Like, it's like, why, like, what is it? Like, why, like, what just came over me? Why am I feeling this way? Like, it was such a weird thing, but it was like just washed right over me. And people always say, like, do you think there's like karma? Like, do you think maybe you lived there in a past life, or there's
mm,
something deeper to it? But that was Japan, and I still need to go back. And then it happened to me when I moved to California.
mm,
Wow.
California blew me away,
Yeah,
man,
it is a
literally to
very
tears. I
beautiful
was
place.
I was at that spot on that mountain, and I was just like, well, this place is so beautiful. And it just I felt like, it was like, even though I'm from New York, it felt like home. It felt like safe. I felt so comfortable here. I was like, yo, this is like, I felt like this is where I need to be. Like, this is where my people
mm,
are, or something. It was such a weird experience, but not weird. Like, weird that I'm like, when my mind thought like, why am I so emotional? That part was weird. But prior to that happening, it was more just like so present and so like, this is it, man. This is home. Yeah. California, baby.
So what's your favorite? What's your favorite place you've traveled to?
So I definitely love Japan for sure. And it was so weird in Japan. Like, I don't know how to speak Japanese or nothing like that. But when you're there, I was like, yeah, I know exactly what she said. Like, you felt like, maybe it's the mannerisms.
Yeah.
Suimi-san, you'd be like, did you just say, excuse me, mister? Like, it just starts, the words just start to feel you. Like, you start to feel it out. Yeah. So Japan, I felt like I knew the language. I felt like I knew the culture. I just felt, and again, I'm like 6'4", and so my friends were like, yo, we lost Anthony, we lost Cotter. And they're like, wait, hang on. Oh no, he's right there. Because I'm like, everyone's like, oh, that tall ass doofy dude. Yeah, he's right over there. So that was hilarious because I felt like a giant, the giant amongst men. It was great. So definitely Japan. Definitely Japan.
Have you lived long term in any of these places?
No, all visiting. I went to. Do you know who Thich Nhat Hanh is?
No.
By any chance? Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He actually just passed away about a week ago. He was in the south of France. He's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Zen master. Amazing teacher. And so when I was, traveling through Europe, I went to Bosnia and Croatia and was helping out there during the end of the war in Bosnia. So there was like blowing up buildings and tanks rolling down the street. And then you would go to another street and be gorgeous old world brick and, just incredible, like blow you away. Like, I'm like, where am I? Just gorgeous places. There was other spots that they said it was like Napoleon's built it to like, for wars, so you walk in these walls of like, just like, you're like, damn, I'm from like South Queens, like this dirty little spot. And like, where am I right now? Just that, I think that blows me away. Like, how blessed are you to be able to experience this stuff? Like, without even really planning life, and it just starts to unfold and you're like, yo, like, this is where I'm at. So I would say the south of France is where Thich Nhat Hanh is, in a place called Plum Village. And I spent, a couple of weeks, three weeks or something like that. I don't really remember. It was in 98. And that was it's just so beautiful. I mean, like, there's people from all around the world. There's a French section, a Dutch section, everyone's speaking different languages. So there's all that culture, which is beautiful. Anytime like a phone would ring or a bell would sound, everyone just stops, takes 3 inhale exhales, and then continues on what they're doing. So it was the first time I was in a place where everyone was so mindful. Every step they took, so everything was just slowed down. It was like, like, yo, you're backpacking, you're traveling, yo, it's just in Paris, and now, jumping out, how it is, right? And then you get to this place and it was like, no, we don't do that shit here, stupid. No, we don't do that here. And then it takes a couple of days though. It takes a couple of days, and people freak out. There's people like, they can't handle that, they want it now. They want to do their thing. But after like day 5, it's like, you're in it, man. You see Thich Nhat Hanh just walk into a room and just the way he could open and close a door it's poetry. Like, the Buddha just entered the room and slipped in and out and like blessed the shit out of everything. You walk through a doorway and he's just giving thanks that the structure is there, giving thanks that this is there, and just that vibe of that slowing down and that gratefulness. It's like everyone is like in a Jello mold. It's just like slowed down, and that pace of noticing every bite, like just watching him eat, like he'll do 50 chews, he'll be eating his food, so like I'm eating and then looking at him like seeing what, trying to see what he's doing. Like, oh, he didn't swallow yet. Let me stop. It's all that type of stuff. But yeah, that experience really, really, really stuck with me, to the point where my dream is to create. I mean, he's like, he's a ninja. He is the Buddha. So I might have a couple more lives to go, but I do want to create that type of community where everyone is really mindful and everything's slowed down. I just want to slow things down. There's no electronics, there's none of that. And it's just, people hanging out in groups and telling stories. And then, everyone meditates together, but also we all prepare food. So it's like everyone is, quietly chopping food. And then if you're on a different team, maybe you're cleaning the bathrooms, but even by cleaning the bathrooms, there's still love and there's still gratitude while you're scrubbing a toilet, and someone else's toilet, like all that stuff, like your ego, just like the voice in your head just gets quiet. And then maybe another voice kind of appears. Like, I felt like when I used to drink when I was younger, I used to have like this voice, like, I would think of this inner voice, like maybe my mom's voice, because she left me at such a young age. So there was like this voice of like, Anthony, don't get in that stolen car. Like, Anthony, stop writing graffiti. Anthony, like, whatever, like, don't do that, dumbass. Don't do that, like that voice, whatever that voice was, I feel like I burnt it out, doing all those things. And that like, maybe that voice would pop in my head. Hey, don't do, like, shut up, and then just drown it out.
Yeah.
And then going to this place. So I was like 20 something years old, the young 20s when I went there. I felt like the voice came back, that voice of reasoning, or that inner guidance started to grow again. And I just really remember just that part of me really got nurtured. It was really a great experience. It really was. Yeah. So Plum Village, put it on the list.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the south of France. So
nothing opens the mind like traveling.
Right.
Seeing different
and also time, right? The time to stop.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to be here. It's like, you're like what they say, if you go to Hawaii, right? You're on island time. Like everything kind of,
I feel
flows,
like America's like, everything is so fast tracked that a lot of other countries, even if they're Western countries, you still feel like there's a little bit of slow. Right? Yeah, it's a little bit more laid back.
Yeah.
And people there always ask, like, what are you guys running for? Like, what are you guys chasing exactly?
Wow, that's the line. What are you guys chasing?
Yeah.
I mean, right? That's really it. I mean, even with work, or even with whatever you're doing, it's what are you really chasing, or what are you really trying to fulfill in that moment? Yeah, that's powerful. What are you chasing?
Yeah, and I could say even with chasing, even a large percentage of it is also running. A lot of people are running from a certain voice in their head. The same.
Mm-hmm. That same voice creep back.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I don't want to hurry. You need to do something. Let me keep moving. Just let me keep going, or let me act busy.
Let me act busy. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. Right? Even just at jobs that you don't like, right? You find yourself doing that type of stuff, right?
Right.
I gotta look busy. They're paying me to get stuff done, and all that stuff.
He's just paying me to stay in a wreck, basically, now.
Yeah, or just stay in this one spot for 10 hours. Yeah, I worked at UBS, United Bank of, I don't even know what it's called anymore, Switzerland or Scotland or something. Switzerland, I think. And I remember I was under these fluorescent lights, and I'm like, God, man, if you could hear me, I want to get the hell out of here. Like, I don't know why I'm here. I never wanted to be in finance. I just want to like do something else. I don't know what it is. And I remember I was like in the filing cabinet doing like a prayer. Like, I just imagine the people are like walking by me in their suits and their nice shoes and everything. Like, what the hell is this kid doing? But after I said my prayer, and I was like, look, if you want me here, God, if there's something like, maybe there's a family I need to take care of, or I got to write somebody's will, or I got to do whatever financial product I'm trying to put together for somebody. If I'm doing this, maybe this is the reason. Maybe I'm supposed to meet somebody here, but I don't know why I'm here. The next day, HR called me in and with my manager and was like, "Are you happy here?" I was like, what is it? Where are you going with that? And like, well, we could give you a severance package if you want to leave. I am not happy here at all. It was literally, I mean, maybe it wasn't the next day, but within like 3 days, I was gone. I was gone. So, so shout out to anyone who was listening that day, you know? So it is wild how life, right? How life,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like that. One day you were in a suit and tie going to work, and the next day, or the next couple of months, I'm in my, my boxer shorts, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to work today.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's, living life long enough to be able to understand those moments, even to just, be able to listen to that voice, or to understand, okay, I was in this vibration when I asked for this, and this happened. So can I learn how to, operate a certain way, or, to stay out of a certain vibration that I want, and still get God to, move some things and move me forward still in that way.
Totally.
It's you definitely want to have that, or want to be able to find that. That's like a life goal, to at least just be able to hear that voice pretty good and know what to do next.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand, like, you can do it, but you got to at least believe that it can be, that you can do it. There's a voice you can listen to, and it'll help you.
Right. And the more you trust that instinct, or that, and I remember it would be like, and I'm sure people have the same experience where, like, you're like, all right, I gotta, I'm gonna jump on the A train. I gotta get to work or do whatever. And like, you're putting on your sneakers, you're grabbing your headphones, you're doing your thing. And then there's a voice that pops in. It's like, take the pencil. You're like, what? Like, I need a pencil. I'm jumping on the A train. I'm like, why do I need a pencil? I need a pencil for. And then you're on the train. And for some crazy reason, the girl next to you can't use a pen, but she needs a pencil for right? And you're like, oh, that was that voice. I should have grabbed that pencil, because this is, like, this is why, this is what the, like, what? And so then it's like, all right, next time I'm definitely taking the pencil. I'm going to take 2 pencils, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, okay, it's crazy that you said that. I'm really glad you said that, because like, I've had so many instances where I ignored that, or the intuition.
Right.
And same thing will happen, like, later on, because your intuition, wherever it's coming from, has the future, past, all of it. There's no time. Yes. So it's like, it has information that you need, and I will ignore it. And then, later on, I'll realize why I needed that. And so, and it took some time. Like, I kept doing it, realized that why I should listen to that voice. It happened again, didn't listen to it. Same thing happened, didn't listen to it. Same thing. It's happened so many times that I'm like, all right, from now on, I'm not even going to second guess if that's the voice or not. I'm just gonna, if I felt it, if it says pick up the pencil, I'm going to pick up the pencil. Yeah. If I'm even like, if I'm looking twice or something, or if I'm like about to walk out of the house and I think of something, I'm going to grab it, because I know it's that voice.
Why not?
And it's like,
it's at that point,
it took some practice of listening, and then now I know that's my intuition, and I'm supposed to listen to it. And
but then, okay. So like I said, I burnt out the voice, right? And then I got the voice back, right?
Yeah.
And then I went over the top, because then I'm like, all right, the voice just said, get the purple crayon. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, what the hell happened? No one needed the purple crayon. So then I'm like, is the voice, am I really listening to the voice, or is that some other voice? So it's like, you gotta, there is a fine tuningness. Like, there is something that, when the voice, when that real voice is like, is it me just saying that I need the purple crayon because I just saw it before I left the house, or was it the voice saying grab the purple crayon?
The voice has humor as well.
It does.
Yeah, it has.
The voice is playing jokes. Let's
see if he's listening.
To go back to Juvenile Hall, right? I used to tell the story to these kids, and I'm like, we used to talk about energy, right? And I said, I would say, like, like, smack your hands together, like, rub them like this, right? And then you know, just kind of barely your fingertips are touch, and seeing if you feel like that kind of magnet, you know, that energy just between your hands, right? And the kids are doing like, oh, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then I'd be like, all right, here's a scenario. You're on the train, or like they're in Oakland. So I'm like, you took the bus, right? You just got from school, you took the bus, and you fell asleep, and you got off 5 stops in the other neighborhood, right? You get off the bus. Now you're walking, and you feel it like the voice says, don't turn around, right? And you're like, turn around, and you're about to get stomped. You're about to get rushed, right? You're about to get jumped. But it's like, how did you know that there was someone behind you? You didn't hear anything. You didn't, you know, like what is, like that voice was there, right? And I used to tell this to the kids that are in jail, like to try to get their voice, to try to get that inner voice alive in them, right? And I was like, it's that voice. Like you turn around, you're like, it's time to get out of here. It's time to get back to your neighborhood. You went to the wrong neighborhood. It's time to get back to your own neighborhood, you know? So that's like, they like, just given those types of stories, everyone has that type of story. Like you're in a party, and you could sense the room. Like, all right, in this corner, something's about to go down. Like you feel that vibe, you know, like maybe it's time to get out of here. Maybe it's time to get your friend out of here, or whatever, you know, that voice you could assess the situation where other people are unconscious of it and not knowing, you know. And so to kind of listen to that voice, that inner voice, because the inner voice is God. It is you. It is the self, you know, and it is that I am. So
and it's building trust with it, so
yes.
that you listen to it because you've trust that you've seen time and time again that it's led you to the right direction. So
absolutely, yeah. It's the trust. It's building that trust. It is. It really is. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right, so where are we planning our next trip? Where are we going?
We got to plan it out.
In between now and, well, we have a celebration coming up, anniversary coming up in September. And
very cool.
I have a Brazilian brother that I had an exchange student in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And we did tell him that, you know, we're going to head that way, at least after the wedding. But in between now and before, there's always a curveball somewhere. So
the last time we tried to go to Sao Paulo, the pandemic happened and they stopped flights. So they had to give us a voucher.
Last year, we didn't have too many plans on the year, and we went a couple of places, you know. So cool. In between now, we don't have any plans right now. In between now, I guess podcast recording in September. Yeah, I would love to go out of the country somewhere. So hopefully.
And did I hear right that Carnival is still on, or is it canceled?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I have some friends that are going this month, and I thought I heard that or read it in a text that it was canceled or something. I hope.
As I've grown older, I'm not. I don't know if it's even just growing old. It's just I haven't been, because even in college, I kind of started to grow out of it a little bit. Not the biggest right now on huge crowds and stuff like that. So it's you know, it's weird. And I don't know if you know, we're in downtown LA. If the Rams win the Super Bowl, we don't know what kind of crowd could happen right here. So they may be Carnival right here.
Just downtown.
Sometime recent, right, next week. No telling. But I'm definitely interested in the culture of that. But it's like, man, would I really, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, possibly, it's like, would I, can I handle it now?
Interesting though, right? Isn't that interesting how you change and kind of morph into this other character or this other being, right? That back in the day, you could go to any club, any party, speakers blasting, and you feel fine. It feels great.
Just to silence,
right. And then now it's like, man, I don't want to subject myself to the craziness or to that energy. I mean, it is sometimes it's great energy, right? Dancing is great energy.
It's gonna be great energy. I can say it's great energy, but it's like
it's a lot.
It's like it's like, oh man, that's a lot of energy. Hopefully, I could still say that if we're there, if the timing is right,
pop in, throw some beads, and be out.
I'd be like, I would go. We probably still go and do the full experience. Yeah, I can't say
Right.
that I
You have
wouldn't,
to. Like what you're there, right? It's
thinking
like, nah,
about
I'm not gonna go see the
yeah,
biggest carnival in the world now. I'm
that's
good. I'm
gonna
good.
be
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But before we close it out, would you like to as far as share your links or anything, let the audience know anything that any projects you
Yeah.
have coming up or some special
So,
notes?
I mean, really, wholelifegoals.com. If anyone wants to contact me, if for any reason, my email is ac@wholelifegoals.com.
Okay.
If you want to talk to somebody else on our squad, it's info@wholelifegoals.com. And then, we're on Instagram and LinkedIn. Please find me on there. That's where I find my most of my people in the social media world. I like LinkedIn, but Instagram and, we're out there. We're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the show, you can find us at americangypsy.com. And we also have merch at luamli.com. All of the links Anthony mentioned and I mentioned are on the description, so don't worry about writing it down.
Cool.
Anthony, it was great having you here. We
Yeah,
really
it's my
enjoyed the
pleasure.
conversation.
And
Yeah.
wish you the most success. I know you say you just finished the website a few weeks ago, and wishing
Thank
the
you.
most success with all of that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so
With the
much. And thanks
connections
for,
and everything.
taking a shot because you don't know me. You know what I'm saying? So,
But that's what
I've-
this is about. That's
If-
why we have the platform. We look forward to learning and getting to know people on a very genuine basis.
right on. Well, I appreciate it. You guys are fantastic. And it'd be great if we could link up, like, yo, I'm out here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was gonna
definitely.
say, if you're ever in LA, we do invite people to for a live podcast session. We have the studio here, so
Oh, very cool. That's what's up.
definitely
Cool.
Yeah. So
stop by.
All right. That's it. Now you can't get rid of me. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to all the listeners, thank you. And if you want to check out some relaxing music as well, you can check out some of my work at Classic KLACCIK Carpenter CARPENTA on Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, and YouTube and some of the other platforms as well.
Killing it, crushing it.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you again,
Right
Anthony.
Thank you, guys.
Consistent self-improvement to everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Right on.
Peace.
Peace.